Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry, and I work in financial aid. And welcome to this edition of ACC Live.
Happy Friday, y'all. My name is Caroline Hong, and I am a coordinator in the Student Money Management Office here at ACC.
So, we know that paying for college is one of the biggest hurdles students face. And some of us had to rely on loans in order to afford our education.
Now that repayment pause on federal student loans has ended, borrowers are expected to start making payments this October in 2023. We're here to offer advice to borrowers in order to make navigating this process less stressful. Here's 3 key pieces of information that borrowers need to know to prepare for repayment: knowing who your loan servicer is, when your payment is due, and where to get help. Visit this website for more information. It's just austincc.edu/loan payment.
Awesome. So, yeah, like Caroline said, we're getting ready to pay back in October. I, for one, am not excited for that, but, it has to get done. So, like she said, the very first step is to log into your studentaid.gov in order to find your loan servicer. So we know that during the pandemic, some loan servicers might have switched and you might have gotten a new one. So just log in. It'll be the exact same login credentials as your FAFSA. And then once you find your servicer, you're going to create an account with that specific servicer and then log in and find out when your first payment is due.
Yes. And like Terry said, doing this step is very important because myself, I am also a borrower, and I just thought that my student loan payment started on October 1st because we keep hearing that date. But actually, when I logged in, for whatever reason, my loan payments start on October 12th. So more information for me to know, and I know that other borrowers are going to be in that situation where it might be on some random date. So that's the reason why you need to figure out who your loan servicer is and go in and log in and create that account. So if you are having any problems whatsoever in this process, please take advantage of available resources here through ACC, including Trellis Financial Counselors through Mosaic. They offer financial coaching, loan servicer support, online tools to navigate the loan repayment process successfully, as well as ACC's Financial Aid Office can also offer assistance in answering any questions you may have.
Awesome. And then, once you've set up all that information, you've gotten your help, you know exactly when your payment is due. Just remember, making it on time payments for your loan can help you build credit. It can help you avoid penalties. And of course, stay on track towards a debt-free future. With a little bit of all of that, we've definitely seen a lot of people with some anxieties coming forward to this, but we're just here to help you out in order for you to be prepared as these loans are now getting ready to be added into repayment. So with that little brief overview, we would go ahead and open it up and see if anyone has any questions for us. No questions yet. Okay, so this is what we're going to go ahead and do. I got a couple questions that I can think of on the top of my head. I think Caroline has some too. So one that I've always thought about is, I'm thinking about going back to school. How does this impact my loans? So if you're one of those people like me who, went to school, graduated in the middle of the pandemic, so you actually have never had to make any payments on your loans, this is a very brand new moment for you. So if you want, some students take this chance to go back to school in order to get their master's. Maybe they want to finish their bachelor's, any of these other things in order to just give themselves a little bit more time, or maybe, things lined up perfectly for that opportunity. If you decide to go back to school, if you're enrolled in at least part-time, you could qualify for in-school deferment. So this basically just means that you get a slight extension on whenever you need to pay for your loans. Okay, so this is a great opportunity for students who have more more educational goals, and they just need a little bit more time before they go ahead and do that.
I know that is definitely something that I have thought about myself, going back to grad school potentially, since I graduated about 2 years ago. So it was still during COVID. I'm like, do I have aspirations to get my master's in business? Do I want more student loans? And how does that affect me? So I think that was a great question for you to incorporate, Terry, because I'm sure people have that on their mind, especially those who have already graduated. So my question that I feel like some students might have on their mind is, I need help figuring out how to incorporate my student loan payment into my monthly budget. Who can I talk to? So like I mentioned before, we have a nonprofit partner program, which is Trellis. Specifically, that branch is called Mosaic. They offer free financial coaching to ACC students. It's virtual. The sessions tend to be less than an hour, so it's about 45 minutes to an hour. You can bring anything to the coaching session. So I've heard students bring like their bank statements or their credit card statements to show the financial coach, just because the experience is what you make it. You can talk about anything. They're trusted advisors when it comes to finance, and you get to schedule the appointments based on your availability. So just doing it around class time, I think every ACC student should take advantage of this opportunity, because not a lot of students at other universities and colleges get this free, awesome resource. And I know personally, like, since I have not had to make any student loan payments since I graduated, this was something that was on my mind. Like, do I have this spare, $189 sitting around for me to put towards my student loans? Because one of my aspirations was to pay off my student loans before I'm 30. So I'm like, okay, how is this going to affect my budget for, the next 6 months or the next year potentially? So I know a lot of my other friends who went to other universities who were a little bit more expensive, they're really stressed out about how that might affect their budget. So making sure that you take advantage of ACC resources like going to financial coaching through Mosaic, or even our office, the student money management office. We have budgeting templates, both for monthly and semester budgets for students to take advantage of. So making sure that you check out our website, because it could also be a great resource. But yeah, just know that you guys are covered when it comes to needing assistance financially while you navigate this like stressful process of paying back your student loans.
Wow, yeah, that sounds great. I see you said it's for ACC students. If they let staff do that?
I know.
Asking for myself. Asking for myself.
Honestly, I've thought about. I'm like, dang, I wish that since I am enrolled in a course this semester, do I count as an ACC student? Because I might just show up at Mosaic myself and do one of the coaching sessions, because I've met both. I met with both of the coaches. They're both super sweet ladies. They've helped out my rainy day savers who are in my rainy day savings program. For those of y'all who aren't familiar, the rainy day savings program, we help students start their emergency savings funds, as well as, just educating them in the importance of saving now while you're in school, even if you can't put away a lot, because, when an emergency does happen, being somewhat prepared, even having just a little bit stashed away, is going to give you peace of mind. But they deal with a lot of my participants, and they go to financial coaching. They're like, oh, we didn't know they were with Rainy Day. So I got to meet with the ladies, and they're very nice and sweet. And they know that, students can be students regardless of, what stage of life they're really in, because, life can be stressful. So they're definitely good, supportive resources to take advantage of.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. And if you're in one class, I think that qualifies. So yeah, at the very plus, you said you already talked to them a couple times. Just slip in a question for yourself. Just be like, oh, I'm asking for myself, blah blah blah, and I'm sure they'll help you out. Another thing that we like to share with everyone is the fact that if you have any issues or things like that, definitely come to us for help and support. But once you find out who your servicer is, definitely reach out to them, right? A lot of these servicers do have people that are working there, and they are willing and they understand, that financially, times are tough. And so some of them might have a little bit of leeway, or, but the way you have to do it first is just by reaching out, asking questions, seeing what you can do, working with them to see, what opportunities are available to you. And then, of course, stay up to date with the news. There are possibilities of different things that are going to be coming up in the future when it comes to repayment and making that a little bit more manageable. But just, keep an ear out, keep an eye open. You never know what might end up happening when it comes to that. But yeah, let's see if there's any other questions in the chat. I don't think we can see any. If I can think of something, let's see, Caroline, what is something you would tell? Well, I guess since you're going to repayment, this is something that you can just prepare yourself. But what is something that you found out recently that made getting ready for repayment a little bit more, bearable or less anxious for you?
I think something that helped me, I did this a little while ago. I mean, I do work in student money management, so I was a little bit proactive, but I recommend for anyone, if you don't even know, as soon as you know that you have these payments coming up, deciding what kind of repayment plan works best for you, using that
Ooh.
tool on the studentaid.gov website that helps you kind of pick which payment plan makes the most sense for you, because they have different options like, oh, I want to pay it off the fastest. I don't have a high income, so what's the minimum that I can pay at this time? So it's more so based on the income that I currently make. And then I make bigger payments down the road, or I want to pay the least amount of interest as possible. So I think that gave me more peace of mind, just seeing all the plans laid out for me and how much that monthly payment would be. So I would say that is a tool, like I said, everyone should do it, I think, regardless of your financial situation, just because it's good to know all the information before you start doing something like this, where, when you're paying back your student loans, that affects, other factors in your life, like your credit. So I think this is something that people need to put time and effort into really understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that you mentioned earlier, that a resource that we have that's really useful, is a student money management. Whenever y'all have the budget planner, that resource is really, incredibly easy to use and really helpful when it comes to not only just for, loan, but just like figuring out your budget for the entire semester. Whenever I saw, I believe Karen, she showed that to us one time, and I was like, wow, this is really just, it covers everything. And then, of course, my favorite part is that, it took into account eating out, because that is definitely something I will not take out of my budget, but I will, budget for it. So definitely something that is great to use for ACC students whenever you're getting ready to add this brand new bill into your budget, because, on paper, we might, see a number and then say, oh, I think I can, end up affording this. But then, you have your other things that might, auto deposit or auto take from your account that might make things a little bit tighter. So, it's really great to use resources like that in order to figure out what fits in and what you might have to change around a little bit as you get ready for repayment to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up one of our resources, which is the budget builder. I actually use our expense tracker. It does it by week. So if you were to use it, you would have to make 4 different tabs on there for each week of the month. But I think it's useful just to see like really how much I'm spending like every day, every week, how much in which category. Because like you said, like there are definitely moments where I spend a lot of money at HEB because I'm going to eat at home and I'm going to cook all these meals, but then somehow I ended up spending like $60 on eating out. Like, how did that happen? And I know, based on the timing of this, I decided that, as an Austinite, I wanted to go to ACL, the music festival, and I knew that that was in October, along with starting our student loan repayments. So I'm like, okay, like I really need to stick to my budget, because I have these 2 very, important, but important for different reasons, important to have fun, but then also important in terms of like life and paying my bills. I definitely recommend like any of our budget builders, our budget templates, the expense tracker. I think they're useful for everyone, because, money management is a lifelong skill that we're working on throughout our lives. It's going to look different. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much been it with us. Thank you guys for joining this edition of ACC Live. Whenever it comes to repayment, reach out to us, reach out to Trellis, reach out to anyone that can help you out, especially your servicer, so that you can make sure that this transition to repayment is a seamless and easy experience for you. My name's been Terry.
My name's Caroline.
And thank you guys so much. Take it easy and go Riverbats. Riverbat gang out.